is, how does one get there? And for which Lord Krishna takes in the second chapter a very, very important topic. He is going to elaborate on the nature of the soul later on over the 4th, 5th chapters, 15th chapter, and so many other chapters later. But in the second chapter, one of the most beautiful introduction to a paradigm shift here is when Lord Krishna discusses the nature of life and death. Because what is obsessing Arjuna's mind is life and death, war and killing. He's obsessed by the killing now. He is sad because of this. He's distressed because of the killings. And therefore the focus of chapter 2 is elaborating on the nature of life and death for a jiva, an individual. And not only that, what is the nature of this jiva? And how does life and death experiences connect to his own journey? This is really the focus, and here you find Lord Krishna begins by addressing this, what we call mortality. Mortality, which is for a living being, for a human being, for the human civilization, is the biggest challenge, is it not? Mortality for us is the biggest challenge in life. Biggest challenge. Humanity has not learned to deal with mortality with grace. No. We always feel defeated when it comes to a death in a family. We always feel we have been failed. We are always distressed when it comes to mortality, and therefore the context here is talking about a soul's journey, a jiva. Jiva is an individual, okay? I'll use this term, jiva. An individual who experiences the self as time-bound, as conditioned by space. A time-bound soul who's time-bound and conditioned by space, correct? Bound by time and bound by space is our experience about who we are. Do you all agree? This is the experience about who anybody has a different opinion. Being time bound, being space confined is the experience of every human being. Krishna asks us to think, what is this the whole truth of who you are? Are you an individual who is time bound and conditioned by space? Is that your whole truth? Is this life that you have come to live on earth starts with nothing, because you began with nothing, right? Naked you were as you came, began with not even a piece of string on you. And when you will you leave with a lot of bags? Not even with a piece of string. As you came is exactly how you will have to depart. And so is it about arriving into nothing and leaving with nothing? Then what did I do in my life? Nothing? Oh, I was doing so much. For what kind of a departure? A departure into nothing? And therefore, these are questions. Is there a promise that if I live like this, after this life, in the life after I will be carefree? All my burdens are only in this life? All the crosses I carry, is it only in this life? Will I be freed afterwards? These are questions we all have, don't we? Is there any more to human destiny than what I think I command in this life? These are some very basic questions that every one of us has asked ourselves innumerable times, and Lord Krishna's teachings tell you one thing. What? You are much bigger than what meets the eye. You are not what you think you are. Deha vyatirikta atma asti. You are someone, you are a soul who carries in you an existence which is different from the existence of your physical body. Don't think you are of the size of your physical body, time-bound and conditioned by space. And with this powerful beginning, he starts by describing, by elaborating what is the nature of the soul and what is the nature of that which is not the soul. He makes a separation between who you essentially are and what you experience yourself to be. You experience yourself to be time-bound, you are not time-bound. You experience yourself to be space-bound, you are not space-bound. And so here we are, Lord Krishna begins to unveil the nature of each of our true essence. We are going to see in this chapter various verses where, number one, he talks about the reality of that individual jiva with reference to one life. One life. This life, the given life. In chapter 2, verse 12 itself, he says, Natve vaham jatu nasam, natvam neme janadipaha, nachaiva na bhavishyamaha, sarve vayamataf param. And so here in this verse, please refer to the verse as you've been studying. He says the nature of the birth and death of an individual is described in terms of time, right? Is described in terms of time. Know that there was never a time when you were not. There will never be a time that you will be not. Means what? You ever were, you ever will be. Oh, then what is this birth and what is this death? Well, birth and death is only for a particular form, a particular body that the individual has assumed right now. Birth and death is only for a particular form that you have assumed, but you as a soul, your essence, ever was, ever will be. a very powerful statement.